Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is the UiPath Apps 0 to Hero series. In previous video, we have discussed the overall controls which are available in UiPath Studio. But in this video, we are going to focus on a container controls. So what exactly is the container control? A container control is essentially a way to group and organize various UI elements like buttons, text fields, or drop downs based on your app that you are designing. So based on your input or the output control that you actually want out of the web application, that you can manage with those containers. And also container helps to ensure that your app remains responsive across different screen sizes and devices. So when you are going to develop your particular app, so let's suppose now you have developed your app with this screen size, and at the time of deployment, suppose your screen size is changed. So in that scenario, the container help to restrain the structure of your app. There might be a question, why we actually use the containers? Because they help to maintain the structure in your app, especially when you work on a complex layout. Let's take an example here only. On the screen, you can see there are different sections are there to fill each and every information. It has some text areas, we have the check boxes, then we have the radio buttons, then we have the text area and slider and the buttons to go on the next page or go on the back page. So for that, you can see we can use different containers and separate those logic for each and every section. And also container helps to maintain the screen sizes across the devices that you are going to utilize. Now for the demonstration, what I'll do is I'll simply add one new page, and in this one we are going to use those containers. For that, I'll click on add control, and after I clicked on add control, there are different controls we have: input, display, containers, icon. So first of all, I'll use the container layout. If I drag and drop the container layout, then you can see in the layout itself, if I expand this layout that I drag and drop, so in this one we have layout, and in the inside the layout we have a container. So in this container we can bind different types of UI elements. Let's take an example of input control. Let's suppose we can add one button. So after I have added a button in this particular container, so you can style based on your requirement. Suppose for this container you want to make it horizontal, the layout you want to make it as horizontal. So in that scenario, your alignment of page will be horizontal. Again, if I drag and drop another, now here you can see after I drag and drop the another control or button, then you can see now we have the layout is set to horizontal. So those two buttons are aligned in a horizontal way. If I change it to vertical, then you can see those buttons are aligned vertically right now. So this is how you can style the elements which are present inside this particular container and apply the styling to this container only. And in case if you want to add different controls in separate containers, so in that scenario you can add different containers as well. So in that scenario you can add different controls in different containers. You can make a complex app with different sections with the help of different containers and place those input controls or the display controls in each every containers that you have dragged and dropped. So this is how you make a use of container layout and containers. And one more thing, now you can see we have placed this input control inside this particular container, and if I given the styling to this button, if I stretch this button, this particular button will expand only to this container layout. It will not go outside this particular container. Let's drag and drop another button and place it outside the container. Now I have placed one button outside the container. If I given the styling now, so you can see After I have applied the styling to this particular button, it has been stretched to whole page, not to a limited container. So that's why the container is most important aspect while you design any app within UiPath App Studio. So you make sure whenever you are designing a particular app, then you make sure you use the containers. Okay. Now we have seen the container layout. Now we'll make a use of page container. So for that, what I'll do is I'll click on add control. I'll go to again containers and simply drag and drop the page container. We have already discussed about the page container. So page container is used to bind different pages. So now I have dragged and dropped the page container. And if I go to the properties of the page container, in the general properties itself, we have page and the open resources. If I clicked on open resources, so then there are pages already listed. If I clicked on the pages, so there you can see there are different pages are already created. In the left hand side also you can see there are different pages are already built. Form 4060, header content, for me. So from that I'll select for me. So after I have selected a particular for me, now here you can see below the buttons that we have dragged and dropped in the containers, below those, this particular page, this form A has been binded together. So this is how actually you can bind different pages within a apps. I hope you got an idea how we actually use the container controls in designing of UiPath apps. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.